Oh. Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button down below, right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content as we go along. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also founder of asexualise.com and the founder of Asexualise Academy. Well, welcome to tonight's episode in which we're talking about how you can self-love without it being sexual. So I posted a post in one of my asexual groups on Facebook, and it was all about how to self-love. And it wasn't exactly about how to self-love. It's something about like self-love Saturday, I think it was, like a few days ago, or it was a post about self-loving, like how are you self-loving today? I think it might have been post from Saturday, but I'm not entirely sure because I only caught the last little bit of the post because I've been so busy today. I'm not feeling very well this evening. I have to let you know I'm feeling dizzy, so I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do this, so I have to go and lie down a little bit. Sometimes I get low blood pressure, so I'm hoping it's not that, but I'm here for you. But the room is kind of like feeling woo a bit. So anyway, so that's partly why I'm not kind of sure completely of the post, because I was just quickly going on to it. And I have a really busy day. I've been going through my fibromyalgia self-help handbook all day, and then later on I started feeling really dizzy, so I've been lying down. So anyway, to cut a long story short, he said he cannot stop laughing when he sees a post like that about self-love. He can't, when he thinks about self-love, he can't do nothing but laugh. And I'm assuming that's because he means he's thinking about it in a sexual sense. So sometimes when people say self-love, they're thinking about sexual things like pleasuring themselves, like masturbation, right? Which is not what the post was about. And I'm talking on this video now, and explaining how and what type of things you can do to self-love, which has got nothing to do with sex or sexual acts whatsoever, right? So one of the things you need to really do in your life is to self-love. It is so very important to love yourself. It really, really is. And the reason it's important to love yourself is because, you spend all your life with you, right? You're going to be spending 365 days a year with yourself from the moment you're born to the moment you die. And if you believe in afterlife, then your spirit you'll be with all the time anyway, right? And if you go around disliking yourself, not being comfortable with yourself, not understanding yourself, not knowing yourself, that'll be very, very detrimental to your well-being, right? You can get severe depression because of it. You can get, like lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, lacking in confidence. It can cause real problems. It can cause problems in social situations. You can get social anxiety, and you wouldn't have thought that. You would have thought that, oh, it's other people. That's why I'm socially anxious. It's not to do with other people. Fundamentally, it's to do with yourself and the fact that you're so unsure of yourself. You're so uncomfortable being in your own company, and you're so uncomfortable like being in a situation of being yourself because you worry about what other people think of you all the time, and and you're self-conscious and of yourself all the time, that you worry about what other people think, and that's what makes you kind of like feeling awkward about being in society, because you're thinking, is this person looking at me when I'm eating? Are these people looking at what I'm wearing? Are these people looking at me? What are they thinking about me? I don't know if I can do this. And this stems from a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-confidence, lack of self-worth, which comes from a lack of self-love, right? You have to love yourself first and foremost, right? Before other people can love you, before you can make your mark in the world, before you can be confident. And you have to understand that part of self-love is understanding that not everyone's going to love you in life, that some people won't like you, some people may even hate you or think they hate you. I hate such a strong word, I don't like that. Dislike you, but you've got to be okay and comfortable with that. You've got to be okay knowing that you're still okay if someone doesn't like you, right? If someone doesn't like you, doesn't mean to say you're a bad person or there's anything wrong with you. It just means you're not to their taste. It's like clothes, you know, if you go to a clothes shop and you buy an item of clothing, you might think this is the most wonderful item of clothing you've ever bought in your life. It fits you really well, looks really great on you and good. You put that same piece of clothing on somewhere else and their body shape's different, their hair's a different colour, you know, it just looks horrible on them. And that's the same sort of thing with people, right? Some people will take to you and like a duck to water, they'll be like part of your environment, part of your you, and who, you know, really love you and just be at one with you and really get your vibe. And other people, they just won't fit in and they'll just be like, I don't get this person, I don't understand them, I don't agree with them, you know? And that's how it goes in life. But part of self-loving is accepting that about yourself and accepting that about other people, you know? And understanding that not everyone's going to like you and that's okay, but you have to love yourself. It's so important. So some of the things you can do to love yourself is self-praise. Self-praise is so, so, so important. So, you know, you need to praise yourself when you've done something good. Like today I read this whole, I'm going off camera now, I read this whole book. Now that is really difficult for me to do. Not difficult because it's my own book, because it's my fibromyalgia self-help handbook and it's my proof copy, right? And I went through because I needed to see if there was any little corrections I needed to do or anything. But I read this whole book today from 10 a.m. I was reading it till 8 p.m. I did have some food in between, but I mean, you know, I was at least doing it for 9 hours solid. That is a lot of reading for me because I'm a writer that doesn't particularly like reading. I'm quite slow at it. That's why. And so for me to read this whole book in a day, even though it's my own book, which is obviously what got me through it, and also it's a very fascinating book. I was turning the page and thinking, I just want to carry on reading this now. So I know, because I get bored very easily with books, if I can turn the pages and read it and be engrossed in it, then other people can, even though it's my own book. It's like a test. I tested myself on my own book to see how, you know, good it is. And obviously I can feel the ups and downs. I can feel like, you know, if there's any little pages that are not as interesting as the other ones. I mean, to be honest, the majority of the time I was really hooked on this. It's like, I've got to go and get some food now, but it's like I started cooking my food and then I just kind of like didn't finish it off till later. I had a jacket potato in the microwave and then I just left it in the microwave and carried on for another hour or whatever reading this because I was so engrossed in it, wanted to get it finished. And so it is a really good book, I have to say, even though I wrote it, because sometimes I write a book and I'm like, did I really write that? It's really, really good. I shot myself that I can write a good book. Of course I can write a good book. But do you know what I mean? Sometimes some of the way things are phrased in there, I didn't remember. It's very different looking at this in print than it is in an ebook format, than digital format. The two just seem completely different. I read this in this book and I read it in the other one. This seems like there's a lot more psychology in it, a lot more mindset in it, which I mean, there is. But you can actually see the depth of it. I felt like half the book or a third of the book was based on that really deep, meaning, powerful stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible, you know? And it's just really nice. And this is my other book, which is a glossy cover, right? And this is impressive. Look at this glossy cover. I mean, this is just shining and beaming. It feels so gorgeous. I love this. It's my own design. I think that's so unique. I just love the fact it got unique design on there. Because it's just, you know, it really stands out. It just does. And it's just a beautiful book. I love the colours. Very, very deep purple. Very deep purple. It's really nice. And so, you know, and that ties actually in nicely into my second thing. You should be doing things you're passionate about. So part of self-loving is putting the emphasis on yourself and doing things what you're passionate about, what you enjoy. It doesn't matter what other people think, it's what matters and feels good to you. So writing is my hugest passion, right? When I'm writing, my soul feels totally at peace. I feel like I'm 100% being me. You know, I just feel so good. It feels so good. It's like, this is me. This is who I am. I'm an author. I'm a publisher. I'm a writer. This is what I'm known for. And, you know, when I start doing Facebook ads, I think it's going to be really good because I've never done any paid advertising before for any of my books, right? And I sell my Asexual Perspectives book, this one, regularly, month after month, right? Since it's come out in 2017. And so it's all like organic, what they call organic traffic. This means organic, you know, this means people that have come across my book, like on this channel or a blog post or something like that. So I'm really proud of all I've achieved without paid advertising. I think once I start doing some paid ads on Facebook, I can reach a more global audience. And, there's so many people that do need my help. And, I think I'm playing a little bit small at the moment. And the fact that, there's those people that don't even know about my books, which they need to. And I'm just so proud now that I'm more comfortable than ever, being an author, I totally, sorry, I feel like I got something in my eye. I totally feel like I'm being me, like when I'm writing, my soul is at peace. Like on the Asexual Guide to Sex book, I can't tell you, just like when I'm writing it, I just feel I'm home here and I'm really doing work. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm achieving something with my life, and I feel like I'm contributing to the world, and I feel like I'm leaving a lasting legacy, and I feel like I'm helping potentially thousands of people around the globe, and I just feel so good. To me, there's no better feeling than being a writer. There's no better feeling than having my books in print. No better feeling in the world. I cannot tell you. When I am writing and so at peace with my soul, I just feel like I'm not even that interested in anything else. Do you know what I mean? I'm so engrossed and the hours just fly by. I mean, I can be working on one story for 4 hours, like a few pages. And the time just like flies by. And I'm like, what happened? Where did it go? And and I'm not so distracted. I mean, sometimes I do have to have a little break because it is good. But, this is what I'm saying. Do something you're passionate about, because when you're passionate about it, you come alive. It's part of self-loving, You're not living for other people. You're living for yourself, This is another important point. Do your passions and live for you. Stop living a life like other people want you to live. Stop conforming and doing what society wants you to do and living your life how other people want you to live, because it's not going to make you happy. And at the end of the day, when you die, you need to look back and be happy that you've lived the life you want to live, not your life through other people, or not them trying to live their life through you, because that's not right. That's not right. You deserve to have your own special time in your life. You deserve to shine the brightest light, the biggest star, and be just beautiful you. Be beautiful you. And that's another thing. You've got to realize you are beautiful in and of your own right, with all your quirks, with your weaknesses and with your strengths. You have to love every bit of you, every bit of you. So you should be praising yourself, pursuing your passions and dreams, going for the life you want to go for, not conforming to conventions and society, but living the life you were born to lead. And you've got to know you're beautiful. You need to be saying in the mirror, look in the mirror and saying, I love you. I really love you. And honestly, put your hand on your heart and say, I love you. I love myself implicitly. I look at myself and I just think, especially when I do books, that's the one thing that makes me so happy to be me. I'm thinking, gosh, you got a gift from God, girl. I know people I come across who just, they always want, I want to write a book and they don't know where to start. And I sort of started my writing journey like nearly 9 years ago now. It's not just something I did overnight. I've been blogging for nearly 9 years on my quirkybooks.wordpress.com blog, and that's how it kind of all started for me. I knew back then I wanted to be a writer, a professional writer, have my stuff in print. And even before that, I guess. But yeah, it's just incredible. And so you really need to be, just find out what makes you so happy in doing it, because I just feel when I do these books, right, I feel these books, I know these books change lives, right? I have had a person recently message me on asexuality.com, and they said that they love this book. It literally has changed their life, And I love the fact I write books to change people's lives. I mean, I don't write fiction, I write non-fiction. These are real stories from asexuals, and this one's going to change people's lives as well. And this is part of self-loving. Part of self-loving is doing what you want to do, making your mark on the world. Maybe you like pottery. Maybe you like painting. Maybe you like landscape gardening. Maybe you like, I don't know, taking people on trips all around the world. Maybe you want to be a pilot. Whatever you want to be in life, you should go for it. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. There are thousands of people that might say you've got crazy ideas, right? But the crazy people, the people that got the most craziest ideas, they're the ones that are millionaires. They're the ones that live in the dream. They're the ones who go on TV. They're the ones who change people's lives. They actually do quite a lot for charity, some of these people as well, you know. And these are the people that make their mark on the world. You don't make your mark. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. You don't get your make your mark in the world by playing small. You know, you don't make your mark on the world by playing small. You don't make your mark on the world by shutting up and keeping quiet. You know, when we're kids, we're taught, what is it a lot of the time? Shut up, keep quiet. That's one of the worst things you can be taught. You know, it's basically teaching you to dampen down your sparkle. It's teaching you that you should be seen and not heard, like something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You know, beautiful you should be heard. And I want to encourage you, especially as the years go by, to listen to yourself more, to hear yourself. And that includes hearing all the truths about you. Because part of self-loving is accepting your truth, is accepting that sometimes you might criticize yourself. Sometimes you might not have nice thoughts occasionally. Sometimes you might get angry. Sometimes you might get sad. Sometimes you might feel pain and hurt. And I think it's good to acknowledge those emotions, to not run away from them or fight them, but accept them for what they are, you know? I know sometimes I'm really critical of myself. And, you know, I have to stop myself. I'm like, you know, I'll be saying, oh, you're too this, you're too that. But like, when I write and I get books like this out, I'm just thinking, wow, Sandra, I know thousands of people that say they want to write a book and they don't know where to start and they haven't got it. Yet you've got something, you've written yourself, you even designed the cover and it's in your own hand. How magical is that? You know, I've got this book out in print and this book is a proof copy that's about to come out in print. You know, this will be able to be got in bookshops just like this is, you know, it's just incredible. There is absolutely no better feeling to me. And whatever it is that you're passionate about, you should pursue. Don't listen to people who say you can't do it. What the heck do they know? Are they in your industry? Are they a writer? Are they a publisher? If you like art, are they an artist? You know, are they doing what you're doing? Are they trying it? Now that's the thing as well. You've got to try stuff in your life. Part of self-loving is accepting that you're going to try something. Things might not always work out. You might buy stuff that doesn't work for you. You might go ahead with do something that doesn't work, you know, like I bought some stuff for business and like some of it I've not used because I can't use it what it was for, you know, and sometimes you just have to take a bit of a loss on that in terms of like money. And it's not like I may be able to use some of it later on and other stuff I can't. It's just I bought it. It was no good. That's it. Didn't fulfill the purpose as I thought it would. But you learn from all these things. You learn what works and what doesn't. You know, if you never do anything in life, if you never take any risk or, you know, like go out into the wide world and do anything. I mean, what are you going to do? Live like a hermit all your life? Do you know what I mean? But you have to trust your own decisions and judgment, you know? You have to trust your own decisions and judgment. You have to know that it's okay. If something doesn't go according to plan, you have got the ability within you to still be able to regain control of the situation and to come out the other end with smelling of roses. I believe anything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, right? Whatever happens to me now in my life, I have a lot more peace with it because if something happens that I wasn't expecting or I didn't see coming, lots of times I do see it coming. Lots of the time I intuitively know it's coming. Even before something happens, I can know it's coming. And that can be quite scary, especially when you have things in your head like this is going to happen and you know it's going to happen, even though right at that moment it's not happening. It might not happen for some time. You can see, trying to predict what's going to happen. It's very bizarre. But, you know, it's kind of a gift. You know, you have to go with your intuition. You know, obviously intuition and fear can be very similar sometimes. But it's really important to go with your intuition, you know, go with your gut feeling, believe in yourself. So that's another thing about self-love is believing in yourself. You need to believe in who you are, even if no one else does. Even if people think you're crazy. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. I'm glad I'm crazy. Because I tell you what, if I was normal, I wouldn't make an impact in the world. No one makes an impact by fitting in, being normal like a robot, do they? They just don't do it. It's the crazy ones, the wild ones, the weird ones, the different ones. Those are the ones that make the impact in the world. Those are the ones that leave a lasting legacy. Those are the ones that make an impression because they're memorable. They're unforgettable. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. So I don't want to be the same as everyone else. I don't want to be someone who keeps quiet and dampens down their sparkle. I want to shine. I want you to encourage you. I want to encourage you to shine as well. And I want you to encourage you to shine. You know, I want you to encourage yourself to be the most beautiful, sparkly person and alive person that you can ever be. I want you to really, really believe in yourself, to trust yourself, to love yourself, because there is no better feeling in the world other than writing for me. Got to say that when I'm writing with my soul. But you know, you can find those pursuits in life. You can find stuff that's just your calling. You know, your calling. I mean, I've seen some really bizarre stuff lately about what people calling is, and I'm like, wow, that's different. Not my cup of tea, but do you know what I mean? It's do you know what I mean? That's what it is. Sometimes your mission is your only mission, your mission. It's your life mission, you know? And another way you can self-love is buy yourself gifts. Yes, you heard me right. Buy yourself gifts. So, you know, if you see a bunch of flowers in a supermarket, you know, you don't even have to spend very much, a couple of pounds or dollars if you're in the USA, you know, or wherever you live, whatever currency, you know, and just buy yourself some flowers. If you like flowers, buy yourself them. You don't need to be in a relationship for someone to give them to you. Give yourself flowers. You are actually in a relationship with yourself. That's where you should think of it. I'm in a relationship with myself. When I self-date, I have the most amazing time. I tell you, I would rather self-date a lot of the time than go out to certain places, you know, other people love. I was like, I'd rather go out to the cinema and self-date and watch a kids movie than go out to a pub, for example. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, obviously I've got my asexual friends there. It's a bit different because I love my asexual friends to bits. And when we're at the pub, we tend to talk and chat and have food. But do you know what I mean? There's certain types of things that I'm not bothered about doing, you know, like I'm not really about going to the pub, and I don't do karaoke, do you know what I mean? Usually I had to go karaoke the other day though, so that was interesting. But you know, it's really important that you live your life for you, and you know, that you buy yourself gifts. Like I said, you could buy yourself flowers, chocolates, item of food that you really want, buy yourself an item of clothing, you know, if you haven't bought yourself and you just want to buy yourself a cushion, buy yourself whatever you want, you know. You don't need someone else to buy a gift for you. You can buy a gift for yourself. That's what I'm saying. And you should give yourself gifts, and you should do self-dating as well. So self-dating, you can, you know, I take myself out to the cinema. I book it on my calendar. It's my date with myself. I have to be there. I cannot let myself down. You have to keep your promises to yourself. That's one way of learning to trust yourself more and more, and your own judgment, and trust yourself in general, is to book things in on your calendar that you're doing with you, and you can't change it. It's like, no, that's my date with myself. That's it. Period. End of story. And so that gives you more trust in yourself, because you know you do have to build a relationship with yourself. People don't realize this. I wasn't taught this when I was younger. I wasn't really taught a lot of life skills, as I'm sure lots of people weren't. We're not really taught life skills, are we, at school? We're taught maths, English, music, chemistry, geography, whatever. Those subjects are half of them we don't even use. We're not taught life skills. We're not taught about money management. We're not taught about procrastination. We're not taught about time management, really. We're not taught about self-love. We're not taught about asexuality. We're not taught about a lot of things, you know, a lot of life skills that we really, really need, like time management. I mean, I'm good at time management, I would say. But you know, procrastination is a big deal for me, and that's one of my things I have to consistently work on at the moment. You know, I have to work on not procrastinating. But I wasn't procrastinating today. As soon as I woke up, I was smack bang reading this, so I was like, you know, like in the zone, as it were. So I was very pleased with myself today. It's a very, very happy day for me that I spent a whole day reading a book, because I've never usually can read a book in a day. Doesn't usually happen, hardly ever. You know, it's my own book, luckily, but you know what I mean? It's very, very hard for me as a slow reader to do that and take it in. And, you know, I just think it's good. It's a good day. And you should have an attitude of gratitude as well. So part of self-love is being grateful and thankful for everything you've got in your life right now. Like, I've got this beautiful flat here. This is one of the most beautiful flats ever. The other day I sold my commercial printer. I've had the commercial printer since 2012. It's like a little baby to me. Not that I'm interested in having human babies, you understand that, right? But I've like nurtured it, and the guy that bought it off me is great because he wants to do it up and use it for the rest of his life, basically, from the way he's talking. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to do that because he's from IT, I mean, he's from an IT background. But, I had to say goodbye to that. But I still, that's past memories, isn't it? That printer's been with me through lots of hardships, like book writing and stuff. So you have to nourish yourself on your own journey. You have to give yourself self-praise. You have to love yourself. And you have to realize that you're building a relationship with yourself over the years. And you have to learn to detach as well from other things. So that printer, I was attached to emotionally. I didn't even realize that until this year. But, I've let it go and I feel good. I feel good it's gone to a good home. I feel good I've helped someone out. And, I've got another printer now. And my life's moving up. I'm getting quicker at writing books now as well, which is good. I'm really happy about that. So, I think sometimes we can be our own worst enemy and we can be our own best friend. And I think we really have to learn to be our own best friend. And we have to realize that what we're not taught from a young age is that we have to develop a relationship with ourselves. We're kind of like stuck with ourselves, but that seems like more what it's like when you're younger. You're just stuck with yourself. There's you in your body and that's it. You're not actually taught to build a relationship with yourself. But the way you build a relationship with yourself is through treating yourself like you're another person. So it's kind of like you're actually two people. That's the only way I can describe it. You are you, but you're like another version of you talking to you, if you know what I mean. It's like you're building a relationship with yourself as like you would be building a relationship with a potential partner or boyfriend or girlfriend or husband, wife, if you're continually building that relationship. If you're building together a while, you still need to build on it. Don't let it stagnate, do you? Because it's going to get very boring if you do and not take each other for granted, which is not good. So you need to like build the relationship with yourself. This is why I'm talking about buying gifts for yourself. I'm talking about self-praise, self-love. If you wouldn't speak to someone else like that, like badly, why speak to yourself? I mean, I'm quite critical. Sometimes I can be critical of other people, not just myself. But I think it stems from, obviously, if I'm really critical of myself, then I'm going to be more critical of other people, aren't I? So I think it works both ways. If I'm less critical of myself and I cut myself some slack, then I'm less critical of other people. Because I think I can be a bit critical of other people, even though some of it's in my head. I try not to focus too much on other people, though. I try and focus more on myself and my own life, I don't think I have the right to go around criticizing people all the time and stuff like that. That's not where I'm coming from. I just think that because I'm quite self-critical, I'm more likely to find fault with other people if I find fault with myself a lot, if you know what I mean, because it gives you a critical eye. So you're always kind of like in that critical frame of mind all the time. But I think it's important, the more you give yourself praise, the more that you see good in other people, the more that you're able to praise other people. So by self-loving, you're actually able to love other people more. By self-loving, you're able to be less attached to other people. By self-loving, you're able to secure your own future because you're creating the safety net and security bubble of yourself, if that makes sense. Do you see what I mean? Because if I'm secure in myself, it doesn't matter then if I do ever need to move in the future, if I do have friends come and go, because I'm a secure unit in myself. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with what I'm doing. If people decide to leave my life, one time it might have been a really big deal. Some people left my life right now. I'd miss them more than others. But, if you're busy living your passion, like when I'm writing, I'm like quite oblivious more to the outside world, I'm not so interested in pursuing a romantic relationship because I'm like, I don't really need it. I've got my books to love me. I love my books. I'm not so interested in what other people are doing. I don't feel I'm missing out at all. I just feel like I'm having the most incredible life ever. I feel very peaceful and comfortable in my home more. I feel relaxed here. I mean, it's a very, very good home for writing. Very, very good home for writing. It's very quiet. Like, I usually like noise, but when I am writing, and obviously when I'm reading, I have to have all the noise off, to concentrate on what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? And so, you know, I do need that quiet time in terms of writing, because, you know, it takes a great deal of concentration when you're reading and writing and editing, a very, very deep amount of concentration. And so, you know, it's nice to have this just beautiful home here. This flat is the most precious thing I've, in terms of like environment, you know, I've lived in since moving out of home. You know, it's like, it's just beautiful. I don't own it, but I've been here 15 years and it's like, it feels like my home. It feels like the flat was always made to be mine. And it's just wonderful. It's a really nice atmosphere. You know, I've got my cuddly toys here, got a nice frozen, you know, like throw. I've just got nice, cute stuff on the wall, beautiful curtains that aren't mine. The curtains are actually the landlord's, all this bedding and bed's mine and everything. And I just, you know, I think you've got, what a part of self-love is having an environment that makes you feel alive, that makes you feel happy, that brings out the best in you, that you feel comfortable around. You feel like it's your own home, even if you rent. Do you know what I mean? I think it's really important that you feel that your surroundings are comfortable for you and they're where you're meant to be. And, you know, when I'm sat at home here and I'm just writing or going through this or going through my next asexual book, and I'm just so peaceful, I cannot say to you how much it is. It's almost like this calmness comes all over my body. And just, do you know what I mean? I feel so relaxed. And I don't get that with anything else. Seriously, I don't get it with anything else. Like, I love, I do get some engrossed somewhat in doing videos, like video editing, but it is hard work. But I do like editing videos. I got quicker at that. I'm good at it. I do like doing the training courses, you know, but I've still got to get better at that. I've still got to get quicker and more fluent at it. But even so, at the moment, that's not as wonderful a feeling and peaceful feeling as writing books, you know, because when I write books, I just feel like my life is worth something. And my life is worth something just by being alive, you know, because people aren't even here. And that's another thing. You've really got to appreciate that. Some people, you know, they're not even here to live a life. They've taken their last breaths already. So like I was saying about having an attitude of gratitude, it's so important. It's so important to be grateful and thankful for everything you have right now. Like, I wake up in the morning, I say I'm really grateful for the roof over my head, the food in my belly, the money in my purse, money in my bank, you know, parents, guinea pig, angel, this are my parents, friends, you know, all those things. I feel really blessed. And I feel very blessed to have the gift of writing. I'm very blessed, you know. I get good feedback about my books, that they're really well written. They're very well thought out. I know they've changed people's lives. I know one person in particular with my fibre book who hasn't even got fibromyalgia, and they quote out of my book to me. And they're using the principles in their own life. Do you know what I mean? And so I know it works, because they're constantly messaging me going, oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, someone I know told me that, like me. And, you know, it's just wonderful to see someone take a book I've written so close to heart and just be guided by it and using it in their own life. And like other asexual book, you know, I know there's a person who's really benefiting from it, you know, and feels like it can just be them now. And the other person that's, you know, like really being helped by my fibre book, they were helped by my asexual perspectives book as well, because they're asexual. And that changed their life because they felt like they fit in, you know. And so I just think there's no better feeling than writing. And you have to find your passion. It took me quite a while to understand my passion. It wasn't like an overnight experience, right? You know, like, while before that I was like wandering around aimlessly, like not even having any purpose in life. And when you don't have purpose in your life, I think it's harder to self-love. You know, it's harder because you kind of like don't know why you're here and you feel more like an alien. But once you know why you're here on the planet Earth, then it makes the journey all the worthwhile, doesn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? And I think it's just like important part of self-love is to find your purpose. And if you can't find your purpose right now, I would say make it your purpose to find your purpose. So just try different things. Go and do some charity work, volunteer work, go and take more courses and things that just pique your interest. Go out and socialize more, go to meet-up groups, go and get out in society more, go and do different things and just try new experiences, you know. part of self-loving is actually pushing through your fears and boundaries and wanting to expand yourself. Like, I want to expand my skill set. I want to change. I want to grow. This year I want to change. It's not I if, it's I want to. At the moment, I consistently want to change myself. Even though I love a lot of me, I do love me as I am, I still want to change for the better. Business-wise, career-wise, particularly, I want to change. I want to keep improving. I want to keep writing books that change people's lives. Because once I'm starting to gain momentum in that, once I'm starting to see how people like things and how it benefits from them, it makes me feel amazing. Because part of self-love is having your own cup full of happiness, but giving that out to other people. Do you know what I mean? And when you are coming from a place of self-love, you're more better able to love other people because you don't feel miserable about life. You're not insecure about yourself or your life. You're just happy for people to be there and to be themselves, and them happy for you to be yourself, you know? But part of self-loving is being yourself no matter what anyone else says. Like, I created an embrace your quirky philosophy in 2012 when I freed myself of depression. And embrace your quirky is all about being your true authentic self no matter what anyone else says, thinks or does. That includes your parents, your teachers, your friends, people of general public, anyone, to be true to who you are. And it's essential, because if you're not true to who you are, you feel pain in your body, because your inner being, if you're in touch with your inner being, wants to burst out of its seams. That's what happens to me. I want to burst out my seams sometimes. I just want to be me, and writing is just me. It's just me coming out. You know what I mean? It just feels great. And so, buy yourself gifts, give yourself gifts, give yourself a lot of self-praise, self-talk. Go and do what fills your cup up. In other words, go and do what makes you happy. Find hobbies, interests, likes, things you want. And, if you have a person in front of you that's really, really hurting your feelings, that's really being obnoxious to you and not nice, walk away from them. Block them on social media. You don't need that in your life. Don't feel bad about it, because at the end of the day, you've only got one life, one life you have, and that is so precious when other people aren't even here. There's people that are dying young, some people, and it's like they have their whole life ahead of them, but they don't anymore. We never know when our last breath is going to happen. I know, I've just got to get this book out, obviously, because this is a proof copy, so I've got to get that done. And obviously my Asexual Guide to Sex book's got to come out, but I'll be so happy when I've done this book, Asexual Guide to Sex book. When I've got this out, this will be coming out soon. And when the Asexual Guide to Sex book, and I've got 2 more asexual books I want to get out. So at the moment, I just want to keep being alive because I keep wanting to write books, but I want to keep being alive because I believe there's a lot more to experience. I believe that I have not living even my full potential yet. I don't even feel like I'm totally close to it. I feel like I'm living my life purpose writing, but I feel like if writing's my life purpose, I should be spreading the word more about my books. Do you know what I mean? By doing paid ads and stuff like that, which I've never done before. So obviously it's a little bit scary. But that's another thing, is self-love. Part of self-love is telling yourself when you're going to face something that's different for you, scary for you, getting out of your comfort zone, that everything will be okay and fine. You have to trust yourself and reassure yourself that everything's going to be fine, because you can look after yourself. Doesn't matter what happens in life, you've been able to look after yourself all through life now. And I guess if you're watching this now, you've been through some really tough times. Yet you got through them, didn't you? Because you're still here. You're still surviving and hopefully thriving. And that means that if you got through all those painful times in your life, that you're super, super strong. You've got superpower within you, And so you have to nurture that and nourish that and recognize that, and, think that, yes, you might take leaps in your life and do things that are way out of your comfort zone. They might work, they might not, but everyone takes that risk. Whoever does anything, it's a risk just being alive these days. Anything could happen. You can walk outside your house and something bad happen to you. Heaven forbid, I don't want it to happen. or you could, or any of us could have an unknown illness we don't even know about, and that's it. Zap, we're gone. So it's really important to be living your best life for you, living your purpose, living your dreams, being happy for you, and reassuring yourself that if you do try something new that might be a bit of a risk, that you are okay. You will work things out because you've done that a million times before, because in our life we do get into situations where we don't expect things to happen. It piles on top of us. We're in this predicament, but we just have to work through it. There's no other way to do it, but I think by taking control of your life and actually putting yourself in a position that's a bit more of a risk than you usually do, that is better for you. It's better than someone coming along and saying, this, I believe, like, I'm quite spiritual, right? And I believe that if you don't take your life into your own hands and do something with it, then people will come into your life and make things happen for you anyway. And that's probably going to be a lot worse. Things you don't like to happen, things you don't want to happen, don't expect, than you being in control of it. It's really important that you take control of your life. And if you want to do something, you try something because you've thought about it for yourself and because it'll get you to be more courageous. Because part of self-loving is being more courageous. The more courageous you are, the more you'll admire yourself, the more you'll look up to yourself, the more you'll love yourself. Because if you think of yourself like another being, like you're kind of like you, but you're not you, but you are you. Do you know what I mean? Like you're two people. One person, the inner being, can love the rest of the being, can love the rest of you. Because if you're being a person that's someone to be admired for being courageous, you can love yourself more because you can think, gosh, you're really courageous, you're really courageous. I mean, if I look back at my life years ago to where I am now, it's like, wow, look how far I've come. But obviously if my mind's in a self-critical state, it's like, oh, you haven't done much today, or this wasn't a good day, or you haven't progressed as much, you've got all this stuff you need to do, right? But if I'm looking for it with very soothing, happy eyes, it's like, wow, you read this whole book today, which is incredible for you. It's actually going to be published really soon in print, and it'll be in libraries soon, and it'll be there for generations to come, for years to come. That's incredible. And if I think about, I couldn't even imagine myself designing a t-shirt, which obviously I design t-shirts for Asexuals. If you didn't know, redbubble.com/people/asexualized/shop. The Redbubble links down below if you didn't already know. I sell merchandise for Asexuals, tons of it. I got my designs I got about 60 designs on 40 different items, and I've got about 150 something favorites, I think, on there, on my Redbubble shop. So yeah, go and check it out. And I didn't think I could design years ago. I would have laughed if someone told me, but I can do it designing. I'm really good. I mean, I designed this book cover, I mean, I did get obviously people's inputs as to which design they preferred when I was on Facebook. So I did different designs and which one do you prefer? But these were all my designs. And then I did have someone suggest about the Fibro. I was talking about Fibro Girl, but I didn't know how to. I said that I need it somewhere on the cover, but I couldn't fit it on here. So one person suggested put it on here. So I put AKA, and then I came up like with Ace Fibre Girl to be different because I wanted it to be different, So yes, I did have some input on the cover this time for the very first time, as in, the title and the subtitle, that type of thing. And I asked people which layout they thought was better, out of all the ones I had. But I designed this and these bits. So yeah, I'm really pleased and proud, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to try things in life. When people say you can't do something, don't believe it. What do they know? Are they in your sphere? Are they doing what you're doing? Do you know what I mean? Are they really doing what you're doing? If someone comes along and tells me something about my writing, and it's like they haven't written a book in their life and got it published, and they don't know the market like I do. They've not got fibromyalgia for a start, or they're not asexual for a start, and they don't know how to capture the audience attention. They don't study marketing and stuff like that. It's like, what place do they have to tell me what to do? And even if they have studied it, so what? Just because someone has a different slant on it. There are thousands of people with businesses around the world, with all their own unique ways of doing things, and some work better than others, but at least they're living their life, So always live your life for you. Don't live it for other people. Part of self-love is being your bold, brave, strong self, in spite of what other people may think, in spite of, other people maybe can't deal with the fact that you're successful in your own right just by being brave. If you are courageous and you are going for your dreams and you are doing things that make you happy, that is being very courageous and it's something to be admired. And some people might be jealous of you. They might be very jealous. Like, how come they can live their dream when I don't get to live mine? I've got to do this, that, and the other. And living your dreams is a perception. Everything in life is a perception, right? I could sit here now and I could think of all negative stuff if I wanted to, which other people could think of about me or my situation, right? But I don't choose to do that. I think of all the positive things that are great. And that to me is success. Success is how you measure it, not how other people measure it, I know that I'm successful because I've done lots of things in my life that I never expected I'd do. I was a very shy girl at school until the age of 10. Then I decided I wasn't going to be shy anymore because I didn't like that type of life. But, in my past, it wasn't good. Not until 2012 did my life change. It's my time now to enjoy my life, my time to help you, my time to be the asexual person that I was always born to be. That I didn't know for years that I was asexual. It's my time to write books. It's my time to spread the word of asexuality. It's my time to help you guys out. I am so glad that I found the asexual community. I'm so glad to have you a part of my community here. I've made some wonderful friends since discovering I'm asexual. Some of the best friends I've ever had in my life, ever, who really understand me, who are comfortable to be around, who really respect me and want me in their life. They look up to me, they like me, they care about me, they love me in their own way. That I haven't had much of before. Obviously I told you I've got a female best friend, but she's not asexual and she's moving away. But good for her. I want her to be happy, and you have to let people go as well on their life journey. If they're meant to be in your life, they'll come back to you, right? That's the way it is. And so you have to learn to detach from certain situational people to a certain extent, but not from yourself. If you're becoming more engrossed with yourself, more attached with yourself in a self-love way, not a big egotistical way, but a truly like from a place of wholeness, then if people come in and out of your life, it doesn't matter if you're stable and strong within yourself and you feel good about being you feel good about being around yourself, you'll feel good in your own company, then you won't be trying to struggle around for getting different people in your life. You'll just literally love being with yourself, and I've been predominantly single, as you know, since 2011. That's like, 8 years this year. Yeah, because we're 2019 now. So it was November the 5th, 2011 was my last long-term relationship. So like 8 years I've been single, and I much prefer the single life so far. It's much better. I love living on my own. I love being financially independent. I love doing what I want when I want. I love not having anyone tell me what to do, not having anyone belittling me or putting me down, because obviously I wasn't in very good relationships in the past. I love my freedom. I love the fact that I can go to bed at 2 or 4 or whenever I want. I love the fact that I can live in my own flat and, all my flats arranged like I want it to be. And that's part of self-love as well, is, like being happy in your own company, being happy to live as a single person, even if you want to live with someone later on in your life, is spending a decent amount of time on your own to get to know yourself. And even if you're in a relationship, I do think it's still good to spend time with yourself and self-love, self-date, because otherwise you can lose yourself in your own soul in a relationship with someone else, and that's not what you want to do. You want to be still loving yourself and liking yourself. So, you want to be constantly improving yourself. Well, when you're on the path of self-growth, you feel good about yourself because you're like, I'm developing, I'm growing, I'm moving in life, I'm changing for the better, and it's a wonderful feeling. So there's lots of things you can do to self-love, self-dating, buying yourself gifts, making yourself feel special, talking to yourself like a best friend, getting to know yourself, and building a relationship with yourself. Like literally, you are dating yourself. That's the best way I can describe it, you know, and getting more confidence and comfortable with yourself by taking some risks, by being more courageous. And the more courageous you are, the more you'll admire yourself. You'll look at yourself and you'll be like, wow, can't believe I did that, but I'm glad I did, because how courageous is that? The more you do things that you would admire, if you were looking at another person, you think, I really admire that person for having the courage to do that. Then if you do those things for yourself, you'll admire yourself more. You know, you should be the person that you would love a best friend to be. You should be the person that you would love to look up to the most. You should be the person that you admire the most. You should be your own idol. You know, there's so many people that idolize people on TV, like film stars, pop stars, you know, that type of thing. But once you start idolizing yourself and thinking in a love way, not in a like, oh, I'm the best thing in the world, but you know, in a like, I'm really, you know, good at what I do. I appreciate myself. I really, you know, admire myself, and I'm brave and I'm courageous and I'm strong and I'm trying these things and I'm getting out of my comfort zone and finding out what I like and what I don't like. And you know, I think when you've got a degree of flexibility to change as well, and to think, oh, you know, honor whatever change comes my way, I think you come from a place of strength like a lion. Do you know what I mean? And I just think it's wonderful. So always, 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 you know, keep supporting yourself, you know, keep being your own best cheerleader, cheer yourself on. You know, I do, like, I keep going, you know, keep going, keep going, keep going, you know, keep going, keep going, keep going. And so, you know, I've got things that I need to finish, things that I need to get done, things that I'm doing. And it's always keep going, do this, keep going, do this, keep going, do this, keep going, you know, and you know, I do feel I go a bit slow sometimes, and that is one of my biggest criticisms to myself. You're going a bit slow, Sandra, but like I'm getting faster at things, so I can't be going that slow. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like this book I wrote the bulk of in 2017, right? But what I mean, it's only since like June I've actually decided to get this out and finish it. So I've actually made some, you know, added some stuff to it. And you know, I've done all the editing to it, lots more editing, I'd say, and added stuff to it, and you know, got it to this format it is now. And I just think that's incredible, because I think in 2017 I've spent a few months doing it. So I've spent what, about June, July, August, September, about 3 months doing it. You know, 3 or 4 months this year. So really, do you know what I mean? It's been less than a year, really, because I think in 2017 I think a lot of it I did in a few months, like 3 months I think I did the bulk of it in, or something. So really, what has it been, like 7 months or something like that? I just think that's really good. My first book took me 2.5 years to write, and my first, which was a redundancy book, and my first asexual book, this took me a year to write. So I feel I'm getting quicker, but obviously look at the size of this to this, it's a bit different, isn't it? But a lot of work did go into this as well. I have to say that. It's just that, you know, I had to change a lot of it. If you saw my first drafts of this to what it is now, it's like, wow. Do you know what I mean? So I think you have to recognize when you're being self-critical, and you have to cut yourself some slack. Do you know what I mean? You have to realize all your achievements, because sometimes we're so like harsh on ourselves. We're like, what are we doing? What are you doing? Like, and you just have to hold off, and you just have to say, look, you're doing incredibly well. Look how much you've learnt this year. Look how much you've developed and grown as a person. Look how much that you're literally growing in everything you do. I mean, I couldn't even talk about sex years ago. You know what I mean? Prior to 2014, before I found out I was asexual, I didn't used to talk about sex, and now it just kind of rolls off the tongue on this channel. You know, I end up talking obviously a lot about asexuality, but sex does tend to come into that sometimes when I'm talking about relationships and dating, because obviously most of the population is heterosexual, isn't it? You know, but it kind of like when I talk about sex stuff now, it don't even faze me a lot of it. A lot of it's just like water off a duck's back, because I'm not affected by it. It doesn't have any bearing on my life. I just talk about it. To me, it's just like educational now. That's what the kind of zone I've gone in, you know, and I think that's a good thing, really. I think it's good that I'm confident and comfortable talking about that now. Like, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't faze me, it doesn't influence me, don't feel much when I talk about it. You know, I've joined another dating group on Facebook that's not asexual, so that is a bit hard, some of it in the moment, because they post pictures that are pretty I mean, they're not, you know, they're mostly cartoon stuff, but it's like still a bit yucky. But you know, it's kind of like, I feel like, well, you know, I've got to expand what I'm doing, haven't I? If I'm on asexual dating sites and at the moment no one's forthcoming and you know, it's not working, then I've got to try some other avenue. And it's quite interesting because, you know, I think everything happens for a reason. And I think that is part of self-love as well, is having the confidence to believe everything happens for a reason, the confidence in yourself to believe you can get through anything you want in life, the confidence that you have the ability to work things out, and that whatever's happening for you is happening for a reason, and things are always working out for you. And to keep a positive mindset all the time. Just keep a positive mindset and start loving yourself. Love your hair, love your body shape, whatever it is, love your eyes. Just love everything about you as much as possible. And anything you don't love about yourself, don't like as much, just accept it. And it's a part of you. And because you love all you. Because like, if you get into a relationship with someone, there might be something that you're not so keen on, say a body part. You probably wouldn't tell it to them. Do you know what I mean? But you know, there might be something that you're not as keen on as the rest. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like a thin guy, but I might not end up with a thin guy, right? I might end up with a guy who's quite podgy, right? But because if I loved him, I'd love his belly with him. Do you know what I mean? Because it'd be like, there'd be something good about it. Like, it'd be cuddly, for example. Do you know what I mean? And I quite like a cuddly guy, so that'd be an advantage and benefit, you know? And I'd be like, I love all of you because I love you. And that's kind of the way you got to be with yourself. Like, you know, if there's certain parts of your body that you're not so keen on as others, you'd be like, well, I still love you because it's part of you and you're gorgeous. Do you know what I mean? So you have to accept everything about you, and even things in your mind you might think not so good. You have to think, well, how would I react or handle this if I was in a relationship with that person and really love them, because you just love all of them because you love them. Do you see what I mean? Love is love. And so, you know, I think, well, I'd probably, you know, just, you know, if I end up with a guy who is a bit podgy, it'd be like, well, I mean, I'm not a skinny girl for a start, then it'd be like, you know, well, I love all of him and he's more cuddly, you know, he's like a little teddy bear and I love teddy bears. Do you know what I mean? And that type of talk. And you can do that with yourself. You shouldn't treat any other person better than yourself. Do you know what I mean? If you treat them really well, you should treat yourself really well. You should speak to yourself really well and absolutely adore yourself. Anyway, I've been talking on this video for nearly an hour now. If you've got any comments, questions, or anything you'd like to ask me, always put it down in chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you lots. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to share it if you think anyone needs to hear any of the contents. Don't forget, like I said, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe down below right here, right now. And please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. I know there's been someone watching about this whole live stream, so I really appreciate you. Really love you from the bottom of my heart. You're amazing. And thank you for your support as always. Until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's, and I will see you on the next live stream or next video, and keep loving you because you are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Take care. Love you. Bye.